I've done videos on different hair toppers and wigs, so I wanted to give you the pros and cons of both and kind of help you decide which is best for you. This is a topper, which means it just has the cap around the crown of the head, and then you still get to wear your real hair under it. Now, as you can probably see, especially under these lights, it is not matching my hair, and with a hair topper, you only have the alternative hair around the top. So in wearing your hair down below it, I'll show you the back. If I put up my own hair, just to kind of demonstrate to you really quickly, if you attempted to wear the hair topper without your hair under it, it would be pretty thin. And so I don't really feel like that is a real option. So if you're going to purchase a topper, you need to realize that it needs to match really well, not only the color of your hair, but also the length. On the pro side, a hair topper, because it is smaller, because it's much less hair, it's going to be much cooler than a wig. And if you are to the point where you are considering hair toppers or wigs, there's a good chance that you've probably entered menopause or maybe even are through menopause, because so many women go through hair loss in menopause. So if you are one of the many who, in addition, experience hot flashes and being hot, then being cooler and not having a wig cap that covers the entire hairline in your entire scalp and has probably twice as much hair, that may be important to you. So a hair topper is beautiful. It can look really natural. It can blend with the hair, and it can make you feel more natural and like you just needed a little boost, but you still have your own hair down with it. But one of the things you should know about hair toppers is that the hair that these alternative hair pieces are made with is perfect hair. It's very youthful hair. As far as the strands are very healthy. They're thick. They're great texture. They're really, really good quality. Well, my hair, and maybe your hair, especially now that I'm in menopause, is not perfectly smooth and perfect hair. It's gotten a little fragile. It's gotten a little brittle. So for my hair to perfectly match that, if I'm wearing a straight look, I may need to smooth it a little with the flat iron so that it matches the perfect texture and strands and smoothness of the hair topper. If I've styled it with curl, then it wouldn't look right to just have my straight under it, and so I would need to curl my hair to match that. Now, if you are in menopause, you also know that your hair is very fragile anyway. It's already getting more brittle. It damages very easy, particularly when you have fine and thin hair. And so part of the reason you may be looking to alternative hair is to save your hair from heat damage. Now, you don't need to do the full look under your hair to go with your topper. Most of the curl or most of the style is going to be up here, but often you may need to do a little bit of something to your hair underneath just to get it to match the style. So if you are going to choose a wig topper, it needs to match in the color of your hair, where if you have just straight dark hair, it's going to be much easier for you to find a match. If you dye your hair and you kind of dye it all one color, you just have one tone going on, then you are probably going to have more luck. If you have balayage hair like I do, where you have multiple colors, you have highlights and lowlights, and you have your own bio hair color growing out underneath, and every time that you go to get it done, you're not highlighting virgin hair, you're highlighting hair that already has color on it. And so it doesn't look the same from month to month. It's got a lot of variation in it. I like to mix it up anyway. And even though a good quality hair topper does have a lot of dimension and does have the darker roots and is really beautiful and can kind of mimic sometimes a balayage look, it will never change. Your hair may when you get it colored. You can take a hair topper to your salon. You can get it cut to your length and kind of add layers or styled like your own. A lot of times they can be color treated, but they're going to have to match fairly well with the color and length of your hair. I feel like a hair topper is a really great entry level into alternative hair because you get to wear all of your hair down with it. And so it still feels like your own hair and you have that comfort. You're just getting a little bit of help on top. And for a lot of people, that may be all you ever want or need, because it's really different feeling something on top of your head when you're and kind of getting used to that. Even though I feel like they're very comfortable, I feel like they're very sturdy and stable, used to just having your own bio hair, and still something to get used to even when you look at yourself in the mirror. And so a hair topper can be a great baby step, but just remember you're going to have to match your hair topper to it in color and length. Something else to consider with hair toppers is that best practice is to let your own bio hair, a little bit of bang, hang out the front so that you can blend it with your own hair better to look more natural. If you don't have very much hair on the top of your scalp, it may be more difficult for you to clip down a hair topper because you just don't have much hair there to hold it. Whereas if you wear a full wig cap, it's going to snugly fit almost like a swim cap over your entire head. So it doesn't matter how much or how little natural hair you have. A benefit to a full wig is you put your hair up and you don't see any of your hair. None of your hair shows. It covers your entire head. It covers all of your hair. So you never have to worry about, is it going to match my color? Is it going to match my length? Is it going to match my style? Because your own bio hair is never going to show with a wig. And so whether you have a wig that is straight or curly, it doesn't matter with your own bio hair. You never ever have to consider doing any heat styling or styling of your own because it's all going to be up under the wig cap. So there is no heat damage to your hair ever. Even when you turn around, it is a full head of hair, and so it's going to be thick enough on its own. Wigs are going to typically be more expensive than a hair topper because you have a lot more hair, a lot more product, you have a full lace cap, and then in many cases, they will hand sew a lot of the hair. And so there's a lot more complexity to it. So a wig is typically going to be more expensive. If you keep your hair the same color most of the time, and you want it the same length as your hair, you want it the same look as your hair, a hair topper can be the perfect solution for you. If you know that your own hair color is going to be more difficult to match, or you change up the color a lot, or you have even more dimension or tones in the alternative hair, then maybe a wig is going to be best for you, because wigs and wig toppers have come such a long way in the past 20 years. They're made of a thin, breathable lace, and so I don't feel like they are hot. They're much more breathable than they used to be. However, even though it's a lace cap, you are wearing a lace cap on your head, and it is covered in hair, and a wig is going to cover your entire scalp, and it's going to have much more hair than a hair topper. So a hair topper is going to inherently be cooler than a wig, even though a wig isn't overly hot. If that's something that is a big issue for you, if you have a lot of hot flashes and you sweat a lot with your hot flashes, that may be a factor that's important to you. So if you're embracing wearing alternative hair and you don't care if people know that you're wearing wigs, you can change it up from day to day and it won't matter. If you choose a hair topper, even if you had multiple hair toppers, they're always going to need to match your color and your cut and your style of your own. And you may have to make some adjustments with heat styling tools to make your texture match as well. And so you can have a lot of variety with wigs if you choose, but with a hair topper, it's going to be more like your own, more familiar, and it may be exactly what you want. You may want something that looks just like your own hair so that no one knows, and that's perfectly okay. Something to know about wearing a full wig versus a hair topper is a hair topper is really just pop on, brush it on, and kind of forget about it. Whereas a wig will often have lace that you need to cut. If you cut it too short, it can make some of the knots on your hair come out. And so you need to have a little bit showing. And so that can take some getting used to. When you put on a wig or a hair topper, especially when you're a beginner to alternative hair, you are going to be examining yourself very closely in a mirror with good lighting. And you know that you have the alternative hair piece on. So you're going to be looking for all signs of that. When you go out in public, you never do that with someone. You're never that close. You're never examining their hairline. You're not looking for or expecting it to be alternative hair. And no one else is doing that with you either. Another thing with hair toppers, I find the clips to be super comfortable. They don't bother me at all. They don't hurt. They don't pull. But if you have very, very little on top to where maybe you don't even have enough hair to put the clips in or to hold them well, then it's possible you could find them less comfortable than just putting on an entire wig. Now with the hair topper, even though it only covers the top of your scalp, it's still blended in with your bio hair. And so you can still pull it back in a ponytail. You can still pull just the top up in a little pony. And you can do that as well with a wig. Now with a hair topper, it's going to be blended and kind of hidden along the sides by your own hair that's coming up from underneath. With a wig, it can be a little more challenging to pull it completely back unless you keep some hair tendrils there or do kind of a loose or a low pony, unless you glue it down along the ears. So a lot of things to consider. There's no one answer that's perfect for everyone because it's going to come down to personal preference and what the biggest factors are for you to make you feel the most comfortable, the most confident, and the most beautiful. Because the hair loss journey, no matter how mild, moderate, or severe, is a tough journey. It's very difficult. It's emotionally difficult. And it's a hard thing to get used to when you're considering wearing alternative hair. It takes a bit. And so I think the biggest factor in deciding whether you want a hair topper or a wig is if you want your bio hair to show underneath and if you're okay with that. If you don't want it to show because you don't want to ever heat style your hair, it would be a difficult color to match, or you want it longer or shorter than your own, then you're probably going to want to consider a full wig. If you have virtually no hair on the top, and even if you dipped the barrettes down to grab some hair, if you feel like it would not be secure enough with the clips, then a full wig might be right for you. If you don't want to ever mess with your hair, if you don't want to have to worry about it matching in color, length, style, or texture, then a full wig may be a better choice for you. If your hair is going to be a little more easy to match, and you want something just a little lighter, you don't want the full wig, you don't want to dive in with both feet, you just need a little help on top or to give your hair a little more thickness, then a hair topper may be perfect for you. And only you can answer those questions for yourself. What I can say about alternative hair now is that there are tons of gorgeous options. They have come so far. They are beautiful. You can have real human hair that you can style just like you would your own. It's amazing texture hair. It's young hair. It's probably a better health and texture of hair than many of us have had in our entire lives. So there are great options out there. There's the perfect option for you. And I hope that this helps you to answer those questions to know what's best for you.